All students, please see this question. This is rotating about the wire. You tell me, how are the, if I look from side view, then this wire will carry some current, which is, let us say, in dot direction. They have not given the direction of current although. How are the magnetic field lines around the wire?
Circular.
Circular. So if the magnetic field lines are circular, and if I also move something in circular path, then what would happen as a result? Will the flux change through that thing?
No, sir, will not change.
No, sir.
So similarly, the flux to this is not changing. There will be no EMF induced in this loop. EMF induced will be 0.
Sir,
Yes.
will it not act as a dipole? Sir?
Dipole? What dipole?
They said it is carrying current and it is changing at a rate of 10 amperes per second.
It is carrying current and it is a dipole, yes.
At also, then also magnetic flux will be changing.
Magnetic flux will not be changing through the.
I changes magnetic field produced by the triangular frame will be changing now.
I am assuming current to be in the wire and flux to this. That will not be changing. Will it change? Wait for this question. I think. Wait for this question. I will discuss such questions. I think it is still something involved. Some concept of mutual inductance is involved here.
Due to same body current induction lag.
Actually, what happens actually? If I briefly tell you now only, although I will tell you afterwards, wait for some time. Not this, not this. This is one loop, let us say, and this is another loop. One thing which you don't know is that if current through the bigger loop is I, and as a result, magnetic flux through the smaller loop is 2 due to the current in the 1. And on the other hand, if current in the smaller is I, and I am finding magnetic flux in the first loop due to second, then it comes out to be same due to some property which you will, we can prove it. Okay, this will be same. Flux in 2 due to 1, provided there are same currents. When we are discussing this, we are saying there are same currents. If I carry current I in the second loop, what will be the flux to the first loop? Let's say phi 1 due to 2. Similarly, if I make I current carry in the first loop, then what will be the corresponding, if I make current I in the first loop, then what will be the corresponding flux induced in the flux going through the second loop due to that current? That will be phi 2 1, but both will be equal. Therefore, when this question they have asked, what I have done here, I thought it is better to analyze not in terms of this, but it is better to analyze in terms of wire, as if the wire is carrying the current, because ultimately it will be same thing always. Okay.
So you said that given that current is same now, sir.
Given the current is same, so I will assume same current here, and I will assume same current here is there. Then I can find out what is the flux here.
Then you are also considering that in wire also current is changing.
That we have to. I was not considering that. I did not notice. If current is changing, then di by dt will be there. So because of that, d phi by dt. Flux will be changing now, but flux will not be changing due to its rotation. Flux will be changing only due to the rate of change of current. So then we know what is the, then also we have to find out what is the flux through this. After finding the flux through this, we have to, I think, just write d phi by dt. How to find flux? There is a formula for that we have already derived. What is the formula for the flux in a triangular wire?
Sir, here a triangle is producing the.
That is what I'm saying. Same thing. Are you even listening, or you are just completely not listening to me and then saying these things? What did I say?
Both.
What was the story? Whether it is in this or in that, it will be same only. So I can I can take current here and I can find flux here. That will also be same. That is the whole point which I said in the beginning, that I can take current here. I know current is in this. I know but I can take current here and I can find out the flux in this. That is same thing as taking current in this and finding the flux through the wire, through this straight wire. This straight wire can always be assumed to be closed. How it can be assumed to be closed? As if it is closing back from the infinity. So it is also a kind of loop only. Okay.
Okay.
Straight wire also will be a loop. There can never be a current without any loop. So it will be a loop, but that loop will be coming from returning from infinity. Okay. And if you have that picture in mind, then you can quickly understand here that whatever flux is changing through this, same will be changing through this. Now, let us take what topic is left? Eddy currents.
Eddy currents is Fleming's right hand rule.
Fleming's right hand rule. I don't know why this is even a topic. Just read it from the books because I have already discussed the complete thing. This Fleming's left hand rule, we need to tell the direction of force, which I never use myself because I can always determine the direction of force by simply right hand thumb rule or by QV cross B formula or IL cross B formula. So I never use the Fleming's left hand rule, but they use it like this. Fleming's left hand rule, they say like this here. What is that? Wait a second. If I draw a right hand, you can just check it from the books. In that they will be telling how to tell the direction using Fleming's left hand rule, but no need of that actually. Okay.
Right
yes,
hand thumb rule is very much better, sir.
That is because we always use that only. So why should we unnecessarily learn one thing new? That is also for force only. It has no other purpose to serve other than telling us force. But I think still for you, I suggest you read, because let us say one question is asked in the examination, in which rather than asking the question directly, but they are asking about Fleming's left hand rule only. Let us say they are saying in Fleming's left hand rule, what does the thumb point towards? So if you don't know what does the thumb point towards, you will not be able to answer that question, even though you know the concept. So for that purpose only. So for that purpose, you can refer the books for that kind of question. Which question I said? Did you listen to the question? For example, if in the question they are asking themselves that in Fleming's left hand rule, in which direction the thumb of the left hand points towards? Okay. Such questions you can answer only if you really know what is Fleming's left hand rule.
Okay.
For that purpose, you can read about it from the book.
Share screen.
Okay. Screen is not shared. So just read about it, and that is although not required for us. Eddy currents. Eddy currents will be the currents produced in the bulk of conductors due to rate of change of magnetic field through conductor. Bulk means, let us say I have a wire here. This is a thick wire, and I am changing the magnetic flux through it. That is increasing what would happen? How the current will be produced? Clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Anti-clockwise.
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 So it will be produced something like let's say this is produced. You said anti-clockwise, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Then
sir.
it will be opposite to this. I have started believing you. I'm not using my brain. Is it anti-clockwise or clockwise? I am thinking you are right only now because you are doing it right mostly. So wait a second. What is that? First
Anti-clockwise.
anti-clockwise only. Right. So if it is in this way, anti-clockwise, one thing is that although this is a wire and it is thick, and if I look at this part of the wire, let us say, if I look at the small section of the wire, this part, and let's say I'm making its enlarged diagram. What will happen through this part also? There will be change of flux or not? If
Yes,
magnetic
sir.
field is everywhere in the
Yes, sir.
space, magnetic field is everywhere in the space, not only just inside, it is outside as well as everywhere it is there, and everywhere it is changing in the same way, then through this also flux will be changing. And if flux is changing, what happens if the change of flux is there? Some electric fields will be induced
Electricity
in closed loop.
will produce. Yes, sir.
If electric fields are induced in the closed loop, which will be, I think, anti-clockwise direction, something like this. I'm not saying circular loops. Circular loop will be if it is a symmetric cylindrical magnetic field region. Here it may not be cylindrical magnetic field region. I don't know what the shape of this is. So whatever that shape is, but anyway, some closed loops will be formed and some EMFs will be there in the closed loops. Even if closed loop is not in this place, closed loop may be this way also. It may be outside it, but still some EMF will be produced here. And because of that EMF, what would happen? Electric field will cause the flow of current or not? J is equal to sigma into E. Sigma is conductivity, E is the electric field produced, and then current will be flowing here. If current is flowing, then current does not just flow this way. It can flow within the bulk also. It can form some closed loops within the bulk. It can form such closed loops within the bulk of the material. Okay, it does not have to just follow the path along the wire. It can go like this also. What is this called as? This is called as eddy current. What is it called as? Eddy current, which is within the bulk of the material. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Understood. What eddy current is? It is also current induced, but it is induced not along the path, but not along the path or along the length of the wire, but it is within the bulk of the wire, not along the length of the wire only. And it is not about wire actually. Mainly we discuss such things for some discs or some really material which have large amount of bulk. Then only we discuss such things mostly. We are not interested in such things for the wires. For the wires, we neglect this. We can neglect also because wires are of very small thickness.
Yes, sir.
If the thickness is small, then the current will find it difficult to follow this closed loop path. Why would it find difficult to follow this closed loop path? You can think in this way. This wire is already of small thickness. And in that small thickness of wire, I am taking one other loop. Then what will be the cross section of the current through which the current is flowing? That cross section area will be definitely less than the area of cross section of the wire. So area of cross section will be so small that overall rho into area divided by length, this area is very small. Rho into length by area. Resistance is rho into length by length of this loop here, small loop upon area of this small loop. Area of cross section will be very small, so resistance will be high. As resistance is high, so this current may not prefer to move in this small loop, but it may instead of that prefer to move in this giant loop. But if I have a big conductor, not just small wire I'm talking about, big conductor only, and that is simply conducting plate maybe, then in this conducting plate, there will be enough amount of current flowing, which cannot be neglected. There will be enough amount of eddy currents. Okay. Do we desire those eddy currents? What these eddy currents do? They will be obviously what normal currents does. Normal current does is it will be having I square R, power loss will be there or not? Power will be lost. I square R will be there, right? So some power will be lost. Are these eddy currents desired or not? Do we need this?
Somewhere,
may.
somewhere not.
We may, yes, we may need this to put into some uses in some places. Okay, so let me give you a few examples where we can use it. Yesterday I told you to read about eddy currents. Did you read about eddy currents from, or just saw some lectures on eddy currents or not? Maybe videos, YouTube videos. No, you are not listening to me. I said that you will be able to understand this thing very nicely if you follow some YouTube videos, because there will be very much detailed explanation. Diagrams also will be seeing there. Anyway, I will be telling you what the purpose of this is. It is used for electric. These magnetically levitated trains are there. Have you heard of them?
No, sir.
And
No,
have you
sir.
heard that the trains,
sir.
normal trains also, in normal
Bullet
trains
trains.
also,
Bullet trains, sir.
bullet trains. In normal trains also, what we do, not in magnetic levitated, I think normal trains also, if I have a rails and the wheels are made up of iron, right? Wheels are made up of metal only.
Yes,
So
sir.
if I want to stop the wheels which are moving, what we do, we use the eddy currents there. We make the rate of change of flux, magnetic flux to the wheels. When the magnetic flux changes to the wheels, what happens as a result? As a result, some currents start flowing to the wheels.
The direction of the
And those eddy currents, on those eddy currents, there will be force exerted by the rate of change of magnetic flux. And I don't have to tell you that how the forces are acting, because we are already familiar with the Lenz's law, and we know that one thing is for sure:
It will oppose.
when force will be acting, it will always oppose the motion. It will resist the motion. So it will resist the motion. It will try to stop the wheels. Without even going into the details, I can tell directly it will resist the motion and it will try to stop the wheels. Yes, wheels will be stopped. That is true. Wheels will be stopped as a result. So there will be force. So we can say braking system of trains. For that, we need eddy currents. Not only that, we need eddy currents for. Did you hear about galvanometer? You know already, right? Galvanometer. In moving coil galvanometer, this is north and this is south, and this is the needle, and this is the, let us say some current is passed through it. When the current is passed through it, what happens? It will quickly, the needle will quickly move. This coil will quickly have, there will be a torque acting on it. Let's say torque acting is in such a way so that it would like to displace it to the equilibrium position, EP. It would like to displace to the equilibrium position, but initially it was pointing at 0. So will it stop at the equilibrium position? No. Because of inertia, this coil has inertia. It will go beyond the equilibrium position. So what it will do, it will go beyond the equilibrium position and it will maybe start oscillating. It may start oscillating. If we don't want those oscillations to be there, and we want the oscillations to be damped, then again we may need the eddy currents. Let me give you an example through a pendulum. If I have a pendulum here, and pendulum always keeps oscillating normally for long amount of time. Time period is 2 pi root of L by G, and it will keep on oscillating for a long amount of time. If I want the pendulum to stop very fast and not oscillate much, then maybe I will use this bob of conductor. If I use this bob of made up of conductor and it is a conducting plate, and I keep a north here and south here, then the magnetic flux to this conductor will change, eddy currents will be produced, and as a result, electromagnetic damping, we call this is the word electromagnetic damping. It is nothing but resistance caused because of the eddy currents. That will be there. Okay. And because due to electromagnetic damping, what happens? These SHM will stop quickly and it will finally come to rest just because of the eddy currents which are produced. So we may need those eddy currents when we don't want something to oscillate and we want it to stop fast. We may need the eddy currents. At other times, we don't need those eddy currents. In some device called as transformers, I'm really finding a surprise that why they are introducing eddy currents now. Normally, they will keep it in AC. Don't even know about transformers also right now.
Sir,
Yes.
eddy currents is just interaction is needed, I think, sir.
Just okay. I think I already explained that much, but no. Otherwise, also in eddy currents, even
Next
after
week it is there, sir. Eddy currents.
Again, it is there next week also.
Yes, sir.
Then in next week also we can study something about it. But actually next week also we cannot study. There is nothing much on eddy currents. It is just theoretical thing, not some. We cannot have a question based on eddy currents which has some numerical question is not easy to frame. Reason is because the eddy currents, when they flow in the bulk, we can't determine the magnitudes of those currents, and we can't determine exactly how they are flowing also. But they are flowing in closed loop. We know about that because EMF will be in closed loop, so definitely eddy currents will also be in closed loop. But what will be the magnitude, how quickly they will make the electromagnetic damping possible, those things are not easy to determine. Okay, so therefore such questions are not to be asked. They will not ask such questions. The only theoretical bits they can ask. Other than this, what you know already, energy meters. In energy meters also we use it. These days we have different kinds of energy meters, I think, but I have seen those energy meters few years back. There used to be energy meters like this in some villages. These days also those may be that kind of energy meters only, probably the old kind. There used to be something rotating coil used to be there, and this coil rotates according to the power consumption. If we consume more power, then the coil will be rotating more and it will be causing more number of turns.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
as a result, the reading will be increased. Okay, something like that was there. So this coil, although it was not a magnetic coil, it is non-magnetic coil only, but it is conducting coil. And on conductors also, we know the eddy currents can be produced. And if eddy currents are produced, the force can be exerted on those. So how the force was exerted in this? That exact mechanism I don't remember right now, and it is not required for you. I know, although that mechanism also I have studied it during college days. Right now I don't remember that much. But
Current
something
meters, sir.
Energy meters.
Current meters also. Current meters will be same only, measuring current. How much we
meters, I don't-
consume?
Which current meter? Ammeter.
No, sir.
Current.
Household, sir. Household.
Household. That only I'm calling as energy meter. That is only called as energy meter.
Okay.
You are calling it as current meter, but I'm calling that thing as energy meter. Okay. Actually, that measures energy. That in household only, the meters which we are having, that measures energy consumed. So what it does, it is also based on this principle only. Let me ask you one question based on that only, and I think that question will be more illuminating as compared to just vague discussion on this. If I have a copper, any conducting coil, disc, in fact, any conducting disc, and what I am doing, I am taking a north pole above it of some magnet, and that north pole I am moving in clockwise direction. I am moving the north in clockwise direction this way. As a result of the movement of the north in one direction, what would happen to this? Will it start rotating or will it not be rotating? If I keep moving my hand, holding in my hand, I'm holding the north and south pole, north pointing downwards, and I'm continuously moving this magnet in anti-clockwise direction continuously. Then, and this coil is free to rotate about its vertical axis. Would it rotate? Would it not rotate? What would happen? What do you expect? What would happen?
It will rotate.
It will start rotating, although it is non-magnetic coil. It is not having any. It is non-magnetic disc. Then why would it rotate? It is not magnetic. Why would it rotate?
Due to the current.
Because of the currents induced. So what happens when this north pole is here? Then the magnetic field is pointing downwards.
magnetic field. Yes.
So I am not saying how I'm holding the magnet. I'm just saying how the magnetic field lines are here. Magnetic field lines are like cross in this region, mainly concentrated in this region. Although due to that magnet, the field lines can be everywhere, but mainly concentrated in this region because north pole I'm keeping close to it, and from here the field is entering into the plane. So it is cross here. What happens to these crosses? This will shift in which direction after some time? As I'm moving my hand, these crosses will shift this side. If the crosses are shifting in this side, then in this place, what would happen?
Decreasing in cross.
It will try to decrease these crosses. If it tries to decrease the crosses, it will try to create its dots. Sorry, crosses are decreasing. Crosses are
So
decreasing.
crosses will increase, no, sir.
It will try to increase those. Okay. If it is trying to increase those, then what kind of current it will produce?
Opposite to the direction.
Cross means it will produce this kind of current.
Yes, sir. Clockwise.
If it is producing this kind of current, then you tell me what kind of pole it is creating, north pole or south pole? I think it is.
It is south pole towards us.
South pole.
So here south is created. Yes, South Pole is being created, and I am moving the North Pole away. While I'm moving the North Pole away, then behind South Pole is
It
being
is
created.
attracting.
It is
It's
trying to pull
attracting.
it back. It is trying to pull it back in towards itself, but it cannot pull the magnet back. Why? Because I am applying external force on the magnet, because of which the magnet is moving. On the other hand, what the coil has to do now, if it is not able to pull the magnet towards itself, it will also be getting a reaction towards the magnet, and it will be
Magnet.
pulled towards the magnet. So it will be pulled forward. It will be pulled forward. So if it is pulled forward, then
So
now
it will
start
rotate.
rotating. Gradually it will start rotating. Although the disc was non-magnetic, even then we may make it rotate because of the eddy currents being produced. If you see some YouTube videos, you will find this thing a very wonderful experiment they do. They will keep a copper material, some maybe copper tube, and they will some strong magnets they will keep inside those, and they will let them fall. When they are letting them fall, what happens to that magnet? Because of the eddy currents produced in the tube, how they are produced we don't know, but we know one thing, that those eddy currents will be losing energy, and if they are losing energy, then where that energy is coming from? That energy is coming from potential energy loss. It means one thing is sure, that potential energy lost of the magnet which is falling, if it is dissipated in the form of heat energy in the copper coil, this tube, then its speed will be slowed down or not. Why will its speed be slowed down? Because normally mgh was just equal to half mv square, but now it is not only half mv square, it is half mv square plus I square r into t, power lost into time, energy lost. So as a result, we expect that the contribution towards the gain in kinetic energy will be slightly reduced now. Its speed will be not increased as much. Okay. And if a moment may arise when the power supplied by mg may be just equal to I square r due to the eddy currents. Okay. So if that is happening, then what happens? Will the velocity change in that case? It will not change at all, because whatever power we are giving, that is totally consumed towards heat energy dissipated, and its kinetic energy will remain constant. That we say as terminal velocity. So if I have a strong magnet which can produce large amount of currents, and we have a copper tube sufficiently long, and we drop a magnet in this, those who are by chance, if in your houses, if you are having really good magnets by chance, and you happen to have some copper tube, which is highly unlikely, but there may be copper, I think some people will drink from copper jugs,
For glass.
copper glasses, or copper glass will be small. If some I need little big, if jug is there or
Jugs will
something
be
is there.
there. Checks are there.
If you are having by chance, this is in your home, and if you are having strong magnet also, try to do it once. You will find out that yes, it. Otherwise, if you are not having, then that's why I said watch few videos. You will understand what is happening. You can see those in those videos. They will drop a magnet here, and it will appear that magnet will take a really long time to come from down. It will not be falling very quickly. We can notice that difference. We can notice the magnet to be slowed down, and the slowed down magnet is only because of the reason that the eddy currents are being produced. Okay, so it attains a sort of terminal velocity. The magnet which you are having at home, that may not be able to attain the terminal velocity, but it will also be slowed down. Terminal velocity it may attain, it may not attain. That depends how long the tube is. That depends on that, and that depends how this strong the magnet is, how strong the magnetic currents are it is producing. Okay. But anyway, just you have this understanding, that is, I think, enough. Now you have remaining you can see from YouTube videos also. Next topic is DC motor. That is not for this week, it seems, right?
Not for this week. Sir.
Not for this week.
This week syllabus completed.
Completed.
This week
Completed.
syllabus we have
Completed.
completed. Then let us have I told you what is inductance?
No, sir.
Can I tell you now? Or you want to do some work yourself? Tell me what you want. Okay, I'm telling inductors. Inductors, you already know about that solenoid. That solenoid is nothing but that is inductor. What is solenoid? Solenoid is one example of inductor.
Which produce magnetic field, sir.
But solenoid is not only inductor. That is typical example. For example, a typical example of capacitor we take like parallel plate capacitor. But there could be cylindrical capacitor, spherical capacitor, and many other types. Just a simple one plate positive charge, another plate negatively charged. That is also like a capacitor only, whatever shape it may be having. So capacitors can also be the weight. They can be of different types. Similarly, inductors can be of different types and shapes. And the resistance and capacitance and inductance, these three are circuit elements, passive circuit elements. They don't develop energy, but energy can be supplied to these. And out of these three, capacitance and inductance, they are somewhat similar to each other. Inductance is denoted by L. How they are similar to each other? They store energy. Capacitance stores energy in the form of electric field, and inductance or inductor stores energy in the form of magnetic field, but both of them store energy. Resistance just dissipates energy. It converts energy into heat energy. We know about resistance. It does not depend on the current which is flowing through the resistance. It does not depend on the voltage which is applied across the resistance. It is independent of that. It depends on the shape and size.
Material.
And similarly, capacitance also depends on what is the shape and
Geometry.
shape of the geometry of the capacitor. Same way, inductor also depends on the geometry only, geometry of the inductor. These are inherent properties of the material, and they will depend on geometry, not on the current, not on the charges, not on the potential difference applied. So if you want to know about the property of inductors, then you understand that inductors, already you know the property although, but now I have to just state it in words. You know already, I think so. Do you know that if I send the current through the solenoid, what happens as a result of sending the current? The magnetic field lines will change or not inside the solenoid?
Yes.
If I increase the current, let us say I am increasing the current, due to rate of change of current, I expect the flux to be changing. Flux will be proportional to I. So d phi by dt will be there, and that will also be proportional to the rate of change of current. But d phi by dt is also equal to EMF. Means I can say there will be some EMF developed across, some potential difference will be developed across it, which will be proportional to rate of change of current. Now, don't think it is like a resistance across which potential will be dropped and V will be proportional to I. Not like that. Here potential difference is there, but that can be existing even if there is no resistance of the inductor. It is pure inductor without any resistance, internal resistance. Although no wire is possible which has no internal resistance. Every wire will have some internal resistance. But for ideal inductor, I will assume it has no internal resistance. It is just a pure conducting coil, so made up of maybe superconductors. Then what potential difference will be created when there is R is not even existing? Then also potential difference will be created, but that will be created only if current is changing with time. Because if current is changing, magnetic flux will be changing. Magnetic flux is changing, then EMF will be produced, because rate of change of magnetic flux is equal to EMF. That will be produced. Now I want the proportionality constant to be L. Let the proportionality constant be L. So I can say phi will be equal to Li. Okay. And I can say E will be equal to L into di by dt. So we have learned these two new formulae. E is equal to L into di by dt. One. And the other one is phi is equal to Li. What is this L? This proportionality constant. This proportionality constant L is nothing but called as inductance of the coil. So in whichever places we can change the flux, whether that is a solenoid or that is a single loop. In a single loop also, if I increase the current, what would happen? Magnetic field lines will change. If the current is increasing, magnetic field will increase. Magnetic field is increasing, flux will increase, flux is increasing, EMF will be developed. And if EMF is developed, then you know that EMF can be induced in any closed loop. So any closed loop can have its own self-inductance. Is it okay? You understand that? Any closed loop can have its own self-inductance. Okay. What I'm calling it as? I'm calling it as self-inductance. Self-inductance L. Sometimes we just call it inductance. If I don't say anything, then also it means inductance only. Inductance of a loop or coil or some solenoid, etc. Of a loop or coil or solenoid, that is represented by L. What is this? What this self-inductance is? What is its property? It is a property. Self-inductance is a property by virtue of which a conducting loop or solenoid, or just rather than saying these things, why don't I just say word inductor? We call this whatever, whichever has self-inductance property, that substance we call as inductor. That can be a single loop, that can be a solenoid, that can be a toroid, all these things. It is a property by virtue of which an inductor opposes the rate of change of current flowing through it. What is self-inductance? Property by virtue of which an inductor opposes the rate of change of current flowing through it. That is a property. How we get the self-inductance value? We get self-inductance of any inductor by this formula, phi divided by I. First I find out the flux, then I divide by the current, then it comes out to be self-inductance. One more thing I would like to say, although it appears that the self-inductance depends on flux and current, but it is independent of both, because I gets cancelled out. Self-inductance or inductance simply, inductance is independent of current flowing through coils or loops or inductors. What is inductor? Substance which has property of self-inductance. What is the property of self-inductance? It is a property by virtue of which any conducting loop tends to oppose the rate of change of current flowing through it. Okay. Understood so far? Right. This sounds like Newton's first law of motion. Does it sound like to you like that or not? What is Newton's first law of motion? It is based on law of inertia. I can say self-inductors have inertia of
Current.
Inertia of current. It is same way, the way the masses have inertia of motion, inertia of keeping constant velocity. Same way, the way masses have inertia of constant velocity, means they have tendency to keep the velocity constant, and inductors have tendency to keep the velocity. Inductors have tendency to keep the velocity current constant, and the masses have tendency to keep the velocity constant. Okay. Which can oppose that tendency of masses to keep the velocity constant? Which can change that tendency? Force, unless an external force is applied. You understand that? When external force is applied, then what would happen? Then velocity will not remain constant. It may change. V may change from V to 2V, or it may change the direction also in that case. Although current is not a vector quantity, so in this case it is just, we can say, rate of change of the magnitude of current is enough. Okay, we don't have to worry about the direction. What can cause the change of current? force. Which force? Electromotive force. It is not actually force. What are the dimensions of electromotive force? Are those of Newtons? Is electromotive force does it have same dimensions as that of force or different? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Electromotive force means EMF. That does it have same dimension as that of force or different?
Tesla matter.
It has different dimensions. It has completely different dimensions.
Volt.
If you are not getting idea how these are different, think in this way. Electric field is force per unit charge, and electric field into length will be potential difference, right? Into length. So
Yes,
means
sir.
force per unit charge into length, but that will not have same dimension as that of force. Force per unit charge into length will be having different dimensions. Or I can say directly also, I knew that work done by battery is equal to Q into V. Then what will be the potential units of
Work done by
potential?
battery.
Work done per unit charge, which is not same dimension as that of force, different dimension. But name is electromotive force. Why this name is there, electromotive force? Because it is also kind of force which is tending to create a change in current. Otherwise, self-inductors have, not self-inductors, why I'm saying self-inductors, sorry. Otherwise, the inductors have inertia of keeping constant current. These are tendency to maintain the current. If current is 0, it will tend to continue to be 0. If current is 1 ampere, it will tend to be in 1 ampere in the same direction also. If current is 2 ampere, it will tend to be 2 ampere in the same, means along the same direction in the wire. Okay, it will tend to be 2 ampere. But how can we oppose that current, or how can we change that current? We can change that current by providing some electromotive force. So I'm giving you one example here. If I have an inductor which is carrying it is ideal inductor which has no resistance at all, no losses. If it is carrying current equal to 2 amperes, what would happen to its current? Will it remain same or will it change? If there is no,
Remains same.
it will continue to be same only. It has permanent tendency to give the same current. It will keep on following in this closed loop. Although practically it is not possible because there is internal resistance, and because of resistance, what happens?
There will decrease.
I
So
into R potential drop will be there. If potential drop is there, then potential drop is nothing but that is like EMF. That is like electromotive force, and that electromotive force is able to create a rate of change of current that can change the current. As a result, the current decreases, it finally becomes 0. But if I have an ideal superconductor, this loop made up of superconducting loop, and it is an ideal solenoid here, then in that case, it will continue to be 2 ampere throughout, never means throughout the time, or it will never be changing. It will always remain 2 ampere only. Okay. Right. You know something about the inductors now, but now you have to determine that what is the property. Here also same things happen the way in masses. What happens in masses if I have one mass and another mass and they collide with each other? Although I say normally that the masses don't change their velocities, but they can change their velocities quickly, suddenly also. When they can change their velocity suddenly, when there is a sudden impulsive force or sudden collision taking place, then they can suddenly change from V1 to V2. Similar thing about inductor. If I have an inductor here, and let's say there's a resistance here, and there is some this thing battery is there, and let us say there's a switch here, and there's another resistance here, and now my question is this, that if initially, okay, let us say this is 20 volt, this is 20 ohm, this is also 20 ohm, the second resistance is also what? It is also 20 ohm. What is the current flowing through the inductor? Tell me. What is the current flowing through the inductor in steady state? Steady state means state of constancy. Steady state means state of constancy. R is equal to 20 ohm. State of constancy of current. When current is constant and current does not change, then we call it as steady state. In steady state, L into di by dt will be 0. I told you what is EMF. EMF is L into di by dt. So if that is 0, then potential difference across the inductor will be. This is nothing but potential. This is not the total EMF in the circuit. It is just potential difference across the inductor. That will be 0. If that is 0, then in this loop, this is just like a conducting loop only. It does nothing now. And 20 divided by 20 will be 1 ampere.
One.
What current flows here? 1 ampere flows. Now let us say I do one thing here. I suddenly break the path of the current. What is the path of the current? Goes here, and comes here. Does it go to the other resistance? No. Why not?
Yes.
Because it is short circuited here. But I am opening the switch. If I open the switch, can the current flow through this path? No.
No.
Current cannot flow through this path because switch is opened. So where will this 1 ampere current go? Will it become 0? Or will it start going through this side? Or will it be something else now? This current will suddenly change. What would happen? What do you think?
Suddenly changes to 1/2 ampere.
Remember, current suddenly changes the way velocity suddenly changes. When can velocity suddenly change? If there is an impulsive force. What do you mean by
Maybe-
impulsive force? Impulsive force means large amount of force acting for small duration of time. Similarly, what will be impulsive electromotive force? There should be very large amount of EMF across the inductor created. Is there any large amount of EMF? What amount of EMF? Maybe we can say like very large, maybe infinite, very large amount of EMF. Now let us check once whether large amount of EMF is possible or not. If I open the switch and I am assuming large amount of EMF is created here, then can we apply KVL now? Current is 1 ampere. Current is 1 ampere, but large amount of EMF is created. Can we apply KVL now? It will not be applicable. I think that will become wrong, right? It is not possible. There is no such large amount of EMF across it, acting across it right now. There is no such way. Why? How can the large EMF act across it? Large amount of EMF can act across the inductor only if in the remaining parts I make the EMF very large. How can I make EMF large here? I cannot make EMF large here or here. It is 20, it is fixed only. If I increase the resistance and I make resistance as infinite, then I can make it because I is there and I into R may become infinite if resistance is infinite. You may think here resistance is infinite, but that is also not true because the current is going this way, and now it is coming this way. Overall resistance in this circuit is finite only. Means just trust those words. It has inertia of, due to inertia, it has tendency to keep the current constant. So it has tendency to keep current constant. Even after opening the switch, the current will still remain constant and it will start flowing through this. Now, what happens as a result? 1 ampere flows here. Then how much will be the potential drop across this? 20 into 1, 20 volt. What is across this? 20 into 1, 20 volt. What is across this? It is 20. If I apply KVL, I can get VL value. What will be VL created?
60.
VL created will be equal to, let us apply minus, plus, plus, minus, plus, minus. VL is unknown. I have to find 20 minus 1 into 20 minus VL.
20.
20 minus 1 into 20
Minus
minus VL
20
and
into
minus again 1 into 20 minus again 1 into 20 is equal to 0.
0,
So VL is coming out to be, let us calculate,
20.
20. What potential difference is created across the inductor right now? 20. Is 20 infinite? 20 is not infinite. 20 is finite potential difference only. Finite forces cannot create the change in velocity instantaneously. Listen wording what I said. Finite forces cannot create change in velocities instantaneously. A collision force during collision or impulsive force can create a sudden change in velocity, but finite forces cannot create a sudden change in velocity. So this potential difference across inductor or EMF across inductor is finite.
Infinite.
Can it suddenly change the current then? No, it
No,
cannot
sir.
suddenly change the current. Will it change the current? Yes, it will change. It will gradually change it.
A large force will have.
It will change it, but it will change it slowly, not suddenly, not instantaneously. So just after opening the switch also the current remains same because of inertia of current through the inductor. Is it not really interesting that it has inertia of current and it will keep the current constant? One more thing now, what would be the current long time after? After we open the switch and we wait for a long time, then what would be the current? Think about it now. What would be the current after a long time? After a long time, again steady state will be achieved. Steady state will be achieved means current will become constant. Current will become constant means L into di by dt will become 0.
Zero.
Across it, potential drop will be 0 now.
0.
If it is 0 across it, then this 20 volt will be
1/2
dropped
ampere.
across this and across this. So what current will be after a long time? Half ampere will be there after a long time. The graph will be something like this. After a long time, it will be half ampere.
Wait,
Initially, it was 1 ampere. It is current versus time. Starts from 1 ampere and then tends to go towards
and then
half
constant.
ampere. This is how the current varies in the inductors. Okay. Don't try to memorize everything, that how will I remember that this current is there or so many things are there to remember. Don't memorize, just few things you have to keep in mind. Inductors have tendency to maintain the current as constant, and it was a nice example because you may be thinking that if I open the switch then the current will suddenly change, but surprisingly it keeps its tendency, maintains its tendency, and the current will remain to be 1 ampere and it will start flowing to this side. Can it change suddenly through the inductor? Yes, I can
And
give you
more
that
force
example
will
also.
add.
It can change suddenly through the inductor if in the last question I open the switch, there was a resistance here 20 ohm, this was 20, open the switch, but I don't have separate path for the current to flow. There is no path at all now. Then there is no option with the inductor. Now what would happen to the inductor? Suddenly current will become 0 from what to what value? Initial value was what? Initial was what was the initial value? 21 ampere. 1 to 0. 1 to 0 it becomes in what time? It becomes in dt time. Dt time is what? Dt time is time taken to open the switch. It is just time taken to open the switch. But time taken to open the switch can be really very small. It can be negligible. It can be almost 0. Then what would happen to the EMF across the inductor? Let's find out the EMF. VL is equal to di by L into di by dt. L is finite value. What it is, I don't know, but it will be some finite
dt
value.
tends to 0, no, sir.
Di is not di here. Di is like delta I, but dt is like dt. See, this is happening here. Delta I by dt. Delta I is sudden change. That is changing by 1 ampere. So what would happen to the VL? VL will become infinite. Will it become infinite or not?
Yes, sir. dt tends to 0, no, sir.
If it becomes so large, let us apply KVL now. If I apply KVL, it becomes so large EMF across it. Then due to that, in this, there is a sudden tendency to where that EMF will go now. That EMF will appear across the switch, across this, because it is infinite resistance is there. So that will try to appear across the switch. In the switch, what is happening? In the switch, there is a air gap. If I give really very, very large amount of EMF, almost very large, maybe megavolts, several megavolts, do you know that air can start conducting? Do you know about this or not?
No, sir.
That air can also start conducting if the potential difference applied across the thin gap of air is very, very high. Then air will start conducting. And that happens actually. If you have an inductor in a circuit and you suddenly open the switch, then large amount of spark will be there in this gap, and there will be large amount of current will quickly, some current will be flowing, and as soon as the current flows through this, then its energy will be gradually lost, and finally the current will become 0. It changes from I1 to 0. Quickly it will happen, but it will quickly change. But the tendency is so strong for the current to maintain that it will even maintain the current through the air gap also. When such questions are asked and they say, what is the current flowing through the inductor just after opening the switch? If they say answer is 0, then you can assume it to be 0. There is no harm in that. We can assume it to be 0. But that also actually takes some finite time. Finite means infinitesimal time, means microsecond or less than microsecond.
It is
In
time
that it
taken
becomes,
to open the switch, no, sir.
it is just time taken to open the switch. That is also very less amount of time, some insignificant time, microsecond or maybe less than that. In that time only the current becomes from 1 to 0. Okay. But the spark will be there, means some sparking will be there. You can conduct this experiment. Have you seen in your houses that sometimes when you switch off the fan in the night, or switch it on or switch it off, or maybe switch off, when you switch off the fan in the night, then you will find sometimes there will be sparking coming from the switch. How many of you have observed it?
Yes, sir.
Did you observe it? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
So we can observe it. We can observe it. Sometimes it happens when we switch off the fan, because in the fan there is a big long coil. Have you seen fan from inside or not? There's a very
Yes, sir.
very big coil in that. That coil is like inductor only. So it has good enough inductance. As soon as we switch off the fan, that current was there already in it, and now it has tendency to maintain the current. So as a result, even through the air gap, the current starts flowing and there's a sparking. So if you want to read about this phenomena, you can again watch some lectures, some not lectures, but some YouTube videos in which there is a coil there, and in the coil there is some current is flowing, and suddenly somebody opens the switch, then they will show you that what large amount of current may flow through the air gap also. Anyway, we know about the inductors. We know what is this property, but now we want to know what is the value of inductance for some special cases, maybe for a solenoid. Tell me what is the value of inductance of a solenoid. If solenoid is of length L and it has current is not required. That is not required to be given. Number of turns is N. Number of turns per unit length is small n. Small n is capital N by L. Its radius is small r. This is given to you, and it is long solenoid. Long solenoid. Question is, find self inductance or just inductance. If I say inductance, that is also same only. Find inductance of solenoid.
Mu m.
What is the formula? Go back to the formula. Formula was phi is equal to Li. So L will be equal to phi divided by I. Tell me now, what is it?
Mu naught Ni by I.
You know, flux is equal to mu naught into small into Ni. Very good. But area, who will multiply with area? This is magnetic field multiplied by area.
Yes.
Is this the flux? Is this the flux or not? B multiplied by area. You may think this is the flux, but that is not true actually. This is only let me write here. Flux per turn of solenoid. Flux per turn of solenoid, let us call it phi naught, that is equal to B into pi r square, or phi 1, I'm saying phi 1 through one turn. What will be phi through n number of turns? That will be net flux. Net flux will be n times n number of turns times phi due to one turn. That is equal to n into B into pi r square, which will be equal to n into mu naught into small n into I into pi r square. Because magnetic field inside the solenoid we have derived already, that is mu naught into Ni. So then there should be n also here. What is the answer now? What is self-inductance of solenoid?
N square mu naught.
Mu naught into n square, because I can write capital N, I can also write as small n into L. So let us write it as small n into L. Then which will become mu naught into small n square into pi r square into L, which is volume. Mu naught into n square into volume of solenoid. Volume of solenoid is equal to pi r square L. Sorry, L, I think I should represent small L only. Otherwise, it is appearing like inductance. I committed mistake here. It is small L only. Small L is the length of the solenoid. Length of solenoid, and L is inductance of solenoid. Inductance of solenoid. So you are getting it right finally, and you can see that our answer is independent of current. Does it depend on current?
No, sir.
Does it depend on any other like flux, etc.? No. It is independent of both quantities from which we derived it. Always it happens like that only. R is V upon I. Capacitance is Q upon V. But you notice that finally it does not depend on V and I, doesn't depend on Q and V. Similarly, L doesn't depend on phi and I. It is just mu naught into n square into volume. Understood? Units of self-inductance. What are the units of self-inductance? This is in Henry, represented by H. Okay. Now, what is self-inductance of toroid? Can you find self-inductance of a toroid?
Yes, sir.
Find once. self inductance of toroid um, take the toroid of square cross section, because otherwise the flux is not easy to determine. Take toroid of square cross section. Assume inner radius to be r and the cross section of toroid to be a by a. Number of turns to be n. Inner radius, you don't take r. What should I give you inner radius? Take inner radius something. What were you taking till now? Inner radius and outer radius? I think I was giving you h as the height cross section of the, not square, let us say I'm taking for rectangular cross section. I want to use the same formula which we derived already for the magnetic flux. So for that I have to write it as rectangular cross section. What did I take in that case? Inner radius when I took this question. Can you see once from your notes?
R, sir, smaller.
I took small r only. Inner
Yes, sir.
radius.
Yes, sir.
This I took small r, and
Smaller.
this one I took a, and this one I took h, right?
Yes, sir.
Actually, small r is also variable. It varies from small inner to the outer. Means I have to take its limits as small r to r plus a. What would be the flux through one turn? I have discussed already, I think so. Flux through one turn. That will be equal to flux per turn in toroid is equal to B into dr into h, which is equal to mu naught into n into I by 2 pi
2 pi.
r into h into dr integral. Limits r to r plus a, which is equal to mu naught into n into h upon 2 pi into I
Ln of
into ln r plus a by
R.
r. That is flux per turn. What is net flux through all the turns? N turns. That will be equal to n into phi 1, which will be equal to mu naught into n square into h into I upon 2 pi ln r plus a by r. What is self-inductance then? Phi divided by current. Current will get cancelled. Mu naught n square h by 2 pi ln r plus a by r. We have got self-inductance, already written heading before, self-inductance of toroid. Now, what is the self-inductance of self-inductance of a hollow coaxial cable. Can you determine the self-inductance of a hollow coaxial cable?
Did you pass over?
No, no. What is the self-inductance of this? Current is going upwards, inner radius A and outer radius is B, and then it is spreading outwards. I have done such question, you remember? And then it is returning back and converging again.
Yes, sir, you did.
Then I asked you what is the flux
existing
through
in
this in this plane, and this has length, let us say L, and I think formula comes out to be same only, mu naught into what was in the last case, same only it comes out to be
mu naught
H by 2 pi into ln of B by A.
mu naught L H is a L, let us say here mu naught L by okay, let us take H only. Why should I not take H? So that answer appears to be exactly same. Height of the cylinder is H. Coaxial cable height is H. Mu naught H by 2 pi.
Ln of B by A.
Ln is in
Sir,
numerator.
I is there, sir. mu naught IH.
IH, okay.
And B by A.
Log of B by that only.
Yes, sir.
This is a magnetic flux through this. If I know magnetic flux, I can get flux per unit current as inductance. What is inductance coming out to be? Mu naught into H upon
H by 2 pi.
2
ln
pi ln of B by A. That is self-inductance of this. So we can have self-inductance of several structures. One structure I have discussed before, that is of pillbox shaped cable is there, let us say. Here current length is K, and below current length is K backwards. This has width B. This is a long sheet. Long means I have given width a long sheet, but I can say that between them is very small. This gap between them, let us say it is H. H is very small as compared to B, so we can, as H is very small as compared to B, we can assume the sheets to be infinite, and we can use Ampere's circuital law, we can find out the field. What will be the field inside? What will be the field inside? Are you noticing I am taking current one side and the other side? I have seen in books they will ask this question in this way. This last question which I have asked, they will say, what is the self-inductance of? Self-inductance per unit length. What is the self-inductance per unit length of a infinite coaxial cable, which carries current I in one direction and I in other direction back? This and this case is same only, no difference at all. Except they are saying per unit length here. In such case, because why they say per unit length self-inductance? Because for infinite structure, the self-inductance will be infinite only. So we are not interested in that. We are interested in self-inductance per unit length. Per unit length we can have by same method only. First you find self-inductance, then divide by H. Then I will be getting self-inductance
Per
per
unit
unit
length.
length. So L by H, which is self-inductance per unit length, will be equal to mu naught upon 2 pi ln B by A. Okay. What is self-inductance per unit length for this? Per unit which length? Per unit length along the flow of current. Why per unit length along the flow of current? Per unit length B or per unit width, we can say. When we say per unit length, they need not specify per unit which length. It is understood. I think I'm making it more clear here while saying that it is current per unit width. Nobody will say such thing in the examination. So you should understand, when they are saying current per unit length, it automatically means which length we should take. We should take perpendicular length. So don't start looking for those words. Here I am trying to do it. I to make it more clear. I'm sometimes say per unit width, sometimes trying to say per unit perpendicular length, but nobody will say in such a way in the examination. In examination, they will simply say current per unit length is given as K. And it is understood that this, they are not talking about current per unit length, which is along the direction of flow of current. That length is different. Understood? So when we are saying current per unit length, it means we are talking about current per unit this perpendicular length only. H is the gap between the plates. And we know, I think that in this case, mu naught K by 2 is the magnetic field due to 1. If I look at from other angle, from this side, it is coming towards me, dot, 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 dot. And here it is going away from me. This side I'm looking from. This side's view. If I look from this side, then I see this way. Then here magnetic field will be due to upper these dots. If I use right hand thumb rule, then it will come to be this side. Mu naught K by 2. But due to the crosses also, it will be mu naught K by 2. So it will be mu naught K by 2 plus mu naught K by 2. So what is the net?
Mu naught K.
Mu naught K by 2 plus mu naught K by 2. So net value is equal to mu naught K. This is magnetic field. What would be the area? Through which area this magnetic field lines will be passing? When I'm looking from this side, then magnetic field lines are towards my right as I look from this side. So for when I look from this side, then how these magnetic field lines will be? These will be going away from me. So here magnetic field lines will be into the plane. This is the direction of B. You understood?
Yes, sir.
I think I should make magnetic field lines with different colors so that it does not confuse you with the current direction. Magnetic field lines, let me make with red colors. This is magnetic field lines here. And here those magnetic field lines are now in cross direction. And when I'm looking from this side, these are in this way. Okay. Then which area I should take? I should take flux in this area. But this area will be infinite. Why it will be infinite? Because this is going infinite sheet from minus infinity to plus infinity. Therefore, in such cases, nobody is interested in inductance, but they are interested in inductance per unit length. So what will be inductance per unit length? Inductance per unit length. Now, are you understanding which length we are talking about now? Now, obviously, we are talking about this length here. When we are saying current per unit length, which length? This length here. Inductance per unit length, then this length. Okay. So while we say inductance per unit length, then we take the length along the, this length is along current direction, along current flow direction. But the other length, this length is along perpendicular to flow of current. But they will never say that it is perpendicular to flow and it is, this is understood. We should understand it ourselves. They will simply say per unit length, that's it. What is inductance per unit length now? First you find the inductance for a unit length means I can take, per unit length simply means I can take this length to be 1 unit and I will get answer from that. Anyway, what will be then inductance here? Mu naught into K into area. Area is B into, not B. Area is L into H. L into H, that is the total inductance of this part which we are seeing. Then inductance per unit length will be equal to mu naught into K into H. Answer. Inductance per unit length is just, no, wait, sorry, I am doing something wrong here. Inductance is flux per unit current. I am not dividing that by current. So what it will be now? How to divide by current? I know K has relation with current. K is equal to current per unit. Then I can write this thing as mu naught into I into H by I into B. I cancelled. Mu naught into H by B. That is self-inductance per unit length. Keep dimensions in mind, you will not commit mistake. The dimensions of inductance per unit length will be same as that of mu naught. If you know this, then you will not commit mistake. Otherwise, some things you may lose out sometimes. Answer. What is mutual inductance? One more difficult question of self-inductance is there that I have not taken right now. That is, if the current is flowing in coaxial cables, but as follows. This one is challenging. Oh. How to find if current is going outwards throughout this? It is solid. Inside is solid. It is J current density. And what current is returning back? I to the surface. J into pi, inner radius is, let us say, A. Then J into pi, A square is the current I, which is then returning from the radius B at the surface. What is self-inductance of this? It is difficult. I cannot do it now because it employs a different method actually. It has to be done by a different method. I cannot just calculate the flux in this and get the answer. I will give you a reason why, but wait for it. We have, other than that, mutual inductance. What is meaning of mutual inductance? It is represented by M, and it simply means that if I have two loops, not one loop, and flux in one loop is changing due to the other. Loop 1, loop 2. If I say phi to 1, flux in 2 due to 1, flux in 2 due to current in 1, and I divide that by current of 1, then I will be getting mutual inductance between 2 and 1. What is mutual inductance between 1 and 2? Phi to 1 2 upon I2. And we know that M21 is equal to M12. It is mutual property of both. And it depends on how they are located with respect to each other and what is their shape and size. It doesn't depend on phi values and current values. It is also independent of flux and the current. Okay. If you know this, can you find out the mutual inductance? We will do later on, next week maybe, not this week. Otherwise, also it is for next week only, right?
Yes, sir.
We can wait for mutual inductance. And you have got enough idea. In fact, if I leave it also, and if you have understood the self-inductance, then all you have to do is you have to just take the current in this first wire. Whether they give current in the second wire, don't care. Ignore that. Take the current in the first wire and find flux to the second one. Why? Because that is what we can do easily. Why we can do easily? Because we know what is the magnetic field due to this at the center of the second loop. But we don't know what is the magnetic field due to the second one at every point on this loop. And if we know at the center, then I can assume that the second loop is much smaller as compared to the first one. A is very, very less as compared to B. So I can assume whatever is field is at the center, same is everywhere also. If same is everywhere, then I can find approximate flux passing through the second loop. If I know approximate flux passing through the second loop, then that flux divided by the current will be the mutual inductance of these two. As far as radius are concerned, you can take it as R. You can take it as small r. And no, sorry, I have given already A and B. And distance we can take as X. And you can say that X is very large as compared to B, so that you can use the formula of that magnetic dipole, field due to magnetic dipole. Okay. Mutual inductance will have several such cases possible. But it's mutual inductance of a wire with a square loop. Can we get that?
Yes, sir.
How?
By taking a smaller.
I have already determined what is the flux due to this in this. And if you remember the formula by now, then you can tell me also directly. It is R1, which is R2. The flux will be mu naught into H into I. I is in the first one. Divided by 2 pi ln R2 by R1. That is the flux in the second loop due to first loop. Phi to 1. It is current in the first one. Then what will be mutual inductance? Phi to 1 divided by I in the 1. That will become what? That will be mu naught into H. I1 will be cancelling with I1 upon 2 pi into ln of R2 by
R1. Sir. Sir,
Tabur. Tabur host के बराना को. Thanks.
నాకే మంచిగా ఇచ్చారా?
ఏమో మామూలుగా ఇచ్చా. క్లాస్ చెప్పాలా?
క్లాస్ అయిపోయింది కదా బాయ్.
నేను చెప్తా క్లాస్. మా ఫస్ట్ టైం హోస్ట్ బాగుంది. ఏంటి ఇంకెంతమంది ఉన్నారు ఏంటి ఇంకా?
ఏదే పరువు తీసుకుంటున్నారు రే, వెళ్ళిపో.
నేనా మనోజ్
ప్రా
బాగున్నావా?
నువ్వు
బాగున్నా.
రేపు ప్రతి వీడియో ఆన్ చేసుకోరా.
బయటనే ఉన్నాను, అందుకే ఆన్ చేయట్లే. భోజనాలకు వచ్చాను. ఇంకేమన్నారు? అనురూపు
చెప్పరా చెప్పు.
ఉన్నారా అందరూ? సుధన్ గారు ఉన్నాడు ఇంకా.
రికార్డ్
చెప్పండి.
క్లోజ్ చేయరా, రికార్డ్ అవుతుంది.
ఎలాగాపాలి రికార్డ్ ని?
నువ్వే కదా host.
నాకేం తెలుసు ఎట్లా.
ఆఫ్ చేసి